And here's one too. This is what has inspired me, and this is what has encouraged me to speak out for my daughters and all of America's children, and I will never ever stop.
I know an actress is not intimidated by a little red light.
Oh, I love red lights. I'm not on right now, right? Oh.
See the red light?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Upload.
I thought you were like paused.
I was, but
it's historical. It truly is historical. And it wasn't until like last week a friend of mine said, "Do you realize how historical this is?" And then I as it was printing out from the computer, for the last few weeks, I was reading it and thinking, God, you are so good.
I'm waiting to use your case, to cite your case.
You are?
In my own, yeah.
Thank you. Well, you can, yeah, thank you. I'm already case law for Florida Sachs v. Sachs case and a prior appellate court case. And I hope that the U.S. Supreme Court will hear this case. It's historical.
There's a lot of moms have their hopes on.
On this case, yes. I know. I'm getting wonderful emails and phone calls from mothers all around the United States thanking me for speaking on behalf of them and their children and all of America's children, and of the national implications of this failure of America's courts to protect our children from documented evidence of sexual and physical abuse. And the fact that the Leadership Council here in Washington, D.C., their conservative estimate is that 58,000 children a year are court-ordered after divorce to live with a sexually and physically abusive parent. That's a conservative estimate, 58,000 per year. The most staggering statistic that I found was that the American Bar Association says that batterers go into family court, they ask for sole custody, and they get it 70% of the time. This is unconscionable what's been happening. And my daughter's 4th grade teacher said to me many years ago in '07, Linda Marie, America better wake up. If you, of all mothers, can lose custody of your children, anyone can. And after it happened to me in the very first week, I met another Daytona Beach mother. And she said, Linda Marie, didn't you know this was happening? And I said, no. She handed me Amy Newstein's book, Madness to Mutiny, Why Mothers Are Running from the Family Courts, and a stack of papers this big. And I went home that night, and I had already half-packed because I was court-ordered to leave the house in the following week. And I stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning. And I could not believe that this was widespread. I thought it was just me. I could not believe that safe, fit mothers could go into court and ask the official avenues who are supposed to protect our children, judges, police, child protective services. I could not believe that when we asked them for help, not only do they not help, and not only do they not protect our children, but they will end up protecting the perpetrator or the batterer, and they will get sole physical custody, and the safe, fit, protected parent will lose all contact and their rights that are protected by the Constitution of the United States, the 4th, the 5th, 9th, and 14th Amendment that says a fit parent has the constitutional right to the care, custody, and nurture of their children, and it's a fundamental right protected by cases like Santoyski versus Kramer and Troxel versus Granville, that you have to have clear and convincing evidence for you to lose custody of your children. And this is what this cert petition is all about. This is all about the national crisis in the family courts, documented evidence of this taking place all over the United States, and government agencies as well as national groups are featured in here. Eric Holder, the Attorney General of the United States, he is on page 37, And he asked a summit on domestic violence and child maltreatment in 2009. He asked them, when you're going into your summit, find out why battered mothers are losing custody of their children through the courts or child protective services. Our own Attorney General is asking the question. I've quoted Catherine Pearson here, who was, in 2008, she was the acting director of the Office of Violence Against Women. She said in her speech to the Senate Judiciary in 2008, she said to them, battered mothers are losing custody of their children. This is a national crisis all over the United States through the family courts and through child protective services. And the perpetrator, the known perpetrator, is getting custody of our children. This is, Kathleen Russell is quoted in here from the Center for Judicial Excellence, and she says that this is the largest institutionalized child abuse of children all across America, and that this is unprecedented since this is worse, she says, and it is, than the Roman Catholic Church pedophile scandal. And you know what I always say about that? At least the children in the Roman Church pedophile scandal, at least they got jailed. Our children all across America, their rights to live in a safe, free environment from abuse, they have no rights. If they dare speak and disclose documented abuse, and if they steal a school teacher or an official, no one will come to their rescue. And not only will no one come to their rescue, they'll take away the parent who tried so courageously and so gallantly to protect them.
Linda Marie, tell us again about when you delivered it. Tell me how you felt when you delivered it.
Oh my goodness.
Because I started crying when you were talking about it.
Well, it was historical. And 4 days before, when I picked them up from the printer, I had a box of precious cargo. I wouldn't let them out of my sight. And on the way home with them, to put them in my luggage for the next day, I wouldn't even stop at Walmart because I was afraid to leave them in the car. So getting them on the plane, and I had to carry them on carry-on, and I said, when there was no carry-on over my luggage area, I put them 3 or 4 seats away, and I said to the lady up there, who's right up there, I said, please watch my luggage. I can't see it from my seat. These are cert petitions going to the United States Supreme Court on Friday at 12 noon. This is an historical case of historical significance for all of America's children. So finally, to be at the point where I'm in Washington, D.C., it's 20 minutes to 12, I'm in the car, I have 40 of these little books that look just like this, and because this is truly an all-American story and I'm truly the all-American mom, I had taken the 40 of these and I had wrapped them in red, white, and blue ribbon, and I got them and I was in the taxi, and I'm telling the taxi cab driver that he is making history for he's taking the Sachs v. Sachs case to be delivered to the U.S. Supreme Court. And when I got there, I had really never seen the U.S. Supreme Court before. Although I had been over at the Senate office buildings previous, I didn't realize that was the Supreme Court. And when I stood outside, because this truly is the highest court in the land, I was humbled by what was on my shoulders to bring to them and to have this case be of national importance. And it was a moment of historical importance as I walked up the steps and I sat on the bench, and I waited for the press to come, and I thought, okay, 5 minutes to 12, quarter after, well maybe they got the wrong time, 12:30, well no one came. But that was okay, because do you know why? One day, when this is the Sachs v. Sachs case and being heard in the United States Supreme Court, then they will hear this case and they will want to find out what happened to America's children.
I'm going to do my best to make this video go viral.
Thank you. And then, you know what, it was so exciting. I couldn't just, and you can't bring the cert petitions to the U.S. Supreme Court in the front. I already knew that you had to go all the way around back, but I didn't want to I didn't want to do it right away. I sat with the 40 cert petitions on the little marble bench, and I was in the cutest little blue dress with my little American flag pin, and I had a little American flag off my purse, and it was truly the all-American mom coming to speak for all of America's children and all of America's mothers who have been denied the constitutional right to the care and nurture of their children. It is a fundamental right. We just want to be moms. We just want to pack our school lunches for our children. We want to take them to soccer. We want to do everything that we did before we stood up to protect them. I want to see the backpack with the school papers in it. I want to see my children sleeping at night knowing that they're safe. I want to watch them grow up. I want to share their birthdays with them. I don't see any of that. I've had supervised visitation for 4 years and 2 months, and I didn't do anything wrong. But the person who they identified as their identified abuser had sole physical custody. This is the biggest national crisis to hit all of the United States, and people say that it's America's dirty little secret. And you think, how can it be that the family courts, child protective services, the police, the investigative agencies, how can they just look the other way and not protect our children? And it's just not me saying this. It's Eric Holder, the Department of Justice Attorney General. It's Lynn Rosenthal from the Office of Violence Against Women who's addressing this. It's Dr. Phil on April 14, 2009, or 2010, when he had the show on the failure of family courts to protect America's children. You can't say that it's just 1 or 2 cases. These are thousands and thousands of cases. The CERT petition is online, and it's available for everyone to see. This has documented evidence of the failure of America's courts to protect America's children, and how safe, fit, protective parents lose custody for no reason at all. And do you know what I found out? I'm a pro se litigant, and I started learning about rules of procedure and family law rules of procedure in the lower court. And then I went to internet law school and learned about the appellate court. And then I filed my own appellate case. And when they denied my per curiam affirmed on my birthday, mind you, December 7th, 2010, I said, thank you, God. This is going to turn out to be the biggest birthday present ever.
Yeah.
So then when I found out that I was going in February to the United States Supreme Court, I started going to internet law school to find out how to file a cert petition. And God is so good, because here is a cert-worthy, legally sufficient cert petition. And I am humbled and I am honored to be able to speak out for all of America's mothers, all of America's children, and all of America's families who are sadly not protected through the family courts. And there's a whole broader issue. In addition to our children not being protected and safe, fit, protected parents losing custody for no reason at all, without any clear and convincing evidence, those are the key words. The U.S. Supreme Court, in the cases that are cited in here, the U.S. Supreme Court says that you have to have, in order to terminate a parent's parental rights, you have to have clear and convincing evidence. And that has to be documented. And you have to have done something wrong to lose custody of your children. America's courts cannot terminate your parental rights because you stood up to protect your children. The constitutional violations that are happening, that are rampant all across the United States, it's unconscionable.
Yeah.
And I'm so hoping that when the justices of our highest court in the land, I still have hope. I've gone up from the lower court to the appellate court. I hopped over, thank heavens, the Florida Supreme Court, although I would have gone there. And I am hoping, and I still have hope in our justice system, and I still have hope that the United States Supreme Court will see this and see that it's a case of national importance for all of America's children and all of America's parents who are sadly losing custody and having their fundamental rights to liberty, custody, care and nurture their children. And by law, we are protected. There's constitutional amendments that says by law we have the right to the custody and care and nurture of our children, and we have the liberty right to a parent-child relationship that no state can enter. And those are direct version cases from the U.S. Supreme Court.
Right.
So I am so excited to be at this point that it just got filed yesterday in the afternoon, and I still have hope that they will do the right thing and that they will see that this is cert-worthy. And I'm really excited as well because they say that less than 1% of certs get accepted. And there's 2 instances where they increase their chances. If they have a lot of press about the case while it's being considered, and if they have a lot of amicus briefs. So, this is my plea to anyone who is involved in protecting America's children, that the cert petition is available, and we have national people from Kathleen Russell from the Center for Judicial Excellence and Eileen King from Justice for Children, as well as other press people who will be happy to help you. And we have people who want to sign on to amicus briefs. So that's where we need America's help right now. Amicus briefs, and to make sure that this is talked about. You send the press releases to your TV stations, to your newspapers, and I just know that one day justice will prevail for all of us. And when will it prevail? I lost my daughters when they were 10 and 12, and I see them 2 hours a month under supervised visitation. But people say, oh, I'm so sorry, and I say, don't feel sorry for me. I am one of the lucky mothers. Mothers all across the United States have no contact. Their rights have been terminated, and they have orders of protection out, so they're not allowed to see them. I feel like I'm one of the lucky moms who have that. But I'm speaking up for all of America's children and all America's mothers, and I know that one day justice will prevail, and I know that this could possibly be the case of historical importance, the Sachs case. And I'm humbled and I'm honored.
Do your daughters know anything about this case?
Well,
about the ramifications about you filing with the U.S. Supreme Court?
well, do you know what? I don't ever talk with my children about the court case because I've never done that, even when when it was happening. But
I understand.
But my daughter yesterday did say on the phone, because I talk with them 2 times a day. My eldest daughter, did say, "Mommy, I hear you're in Washington." I said, "You heard I was in Washington. How did you hear I was in Washington?" She said, "Well, I saw it on Facebook." And I said, "Well," because I'm on Facebook, but I'm not on Facebook. Yeah. And I said, "Well, and she said, "I hear you're in Washington, and what are you doing in Washington, Mom?" And I said, "Well, I'm not allowed to talk about it because it's about the case, but I can tell you that it's historical, and Mommy's in a lot of meetings." And then I was so hoping that she would see that I kept my promise. I did. My daughters, I kept my promise. They said, "Mommy, fight for us. Do something every day to get us back, and don't ever stop." And I have continued to fight for you both. And never will I ever stop. And along the way, the first very week, I found out that this was happening to all of America's children and all of America's mothers who did exactly the right thing. We believed our children, and we tried to protect them from abuse. And I'm humbled by the opportunity to speak on their behalf and all of America's children. And also, too, it was kind of sweet to be here as well, because when my youngest daughter was here in October, she was at the Smithsonian Institute, and she was here on a school trip, And I talked to her and she said, Mommy, I'm just leaving the Smithsonian Institute. And I got you a present in the gift shop. I said, you did? She said, yes. And I said, what is it? She said, I can't tell you. And then it's a surprise. And then I heard, uh-oh. And I said, what happened? She said, oh, it broke. There's a lot of glass and it's all wet. And I said, well, don't you worry. Just throw it out. Don't get cut with the glass. And next time Mommy's in Washington, I'll go to the Smithsonian and I'll get one. So I was there today. It was a snow globe with a butterfly inside.
Aww.
So I kept that promise too. So we've kept 2 promises on this special Mother's Day weekend. And I'm honored to be their mother. And when we're at visitation and they say, Mommy, you're the best mother in the whole world. And I say, you make it easy to be the best mother in the whole world because I've got the best girls in the whole world.
That's awesome.
Well, Linda, we thank you for doing this for all the children of America, especially mothers like myself and children like my son. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
I'm honored. I'm honored. And I realized the historical significance of it all. And I got a letter a week and a half ago from a Jane Doe, and I think it's posted on Julia Fletcher Flame Reports of America. It was one of those, I was up for 48 hours, typing, putting it all together, and then at like 4 in the morning I got this email, and it was, Dear Linda Marie, and it was from a Jane Doe because she was so afraid to use her name and she had to get it forward from somebody. And it said, thank you for speaking up on behalf of your children and my children and all of America's children. And I hope, even though I couldn't be on Facebook or do the Twibbon or, sign a petition for you, I just wanted to send you these words and hope that they would be an inspiration to you. And thank you for all you're doing for speaking up for America's children.
You know what? I had one of the moms that I talked with a lot. She was in trouble and she ended up in Florida, and you took her to the bus station and handed her a $100 bill to help take care of her. And the generosity that you showed to a mom in trouble was just unbelievable.
Well, I've always taught my children since they were little that it's so important to be kind, and it's so important to help people, and that no matter what you have or don't have, you can always help people in need. And I remember that sweet lady, and I didn't even want to leave her at the bus stop because it was I sat with her until the bus came.
That's what she told me. You sat with her until it came.
I didn't want to leave her because I just wanted to make sure that I got her on the bus and she was going to be okay.
You're unbelievable.
You have to.
Yeah, I understand.
You have to. I know my daughters when they were little. I mean, I would put them in bed at night, and they were warm and they were dry, and they went to school that day, and they had a full tummy, and they had clothes to wear. And we'd always talk about how to give back to the community and how to make a difference. And
we take care of each other.
We do take care of each other, and how one person can make a difference. And everybody hearing this, know that you can make a difference. It only takes one. And I see now in this family court crisis in America that all of us have joined together. And what's amazing to me is that this is 2011, and we're doing it now with computers and email and phone and faxes and video cameras. And 101 years previous, women got us the right to vote by standing on the street corners without phones, without email, and they got us the historic right to vote. So we are making a difference, and I do believe that one day justice will prevail. And do you know what? For a cert petition, according to the United States Supreme Court rules, which I know those rules inside and out, I had like a few words left, and I got to read you the last paragraph, and I couldn't end it on a negative. For me, I'm the eternal optimist. So it says, I'll read you, if I could, I'll read you the last 2 paragraphs of the 8,998 words. The U.S. Supreme Court is the only court that can redress for these egregious violations of constitutional rights and protect a parent-child relationship when the parent is a victim of domestic violence and their children need protection from abuse. In courts all over America, the safe, fit, protective parents are sanctioned by the courts and lose custody. But the known batterer and or perpetrator of child physical and or sexual abuse will get sole physical custody by the family courts or child protective services. And that was the end of the petition for the U.S. Supreme Court, but I couldn't leave it that way. I had to end it on a positive. And always in my emails and my press things that go out, I put, justice will prevail one day. Because I still have hope. And I just pray, and so many prayers are going out, that the U.S. Supreme Court find this petition to be cert-worthy, and it be up there with the historical cases that have come before it. And I still have hope. Now there's 3 things that can happen in the next 2 months. The rules of procedure for the U.S. Supreme Court says that, I filed them on Friday, and they'll take them in, and maybe in a month or so, I could get one of 3 letters. The first letter, which this is the one I want, and this is the one I'm hoping for, will say, Dear Linda Marie Sachs, we have accepted your petition for writ, and we have placed your case on the docket to be considered. That means everything was perfect. The rules, the font, the little book, the sizes, everything was perfect. So I'm hoping for that letter. A second letter could come, and it could say, Dear Linda Marie Sachs, your good faith effort to file a cert petition, but you made a few mistakes, maybe this or that, and you have 60 days to do it again and send it back with these deficiencies. Or the third one, which I'm no fall into that category, is you don't even try again. But I really follow the form, the rules of procedure. I know the Supreme Court rules inside and out.
Looks great.
And I'd like to do a special thank you to Jeff Atkins at the U.S. Supreme Court. He is the top case law analyst, and he returned my calls in 5 minutes when I'd have a technical question, because I wanted to make sure I dotted my I's and I crossed my T's. And I would call him for a question at a critical point, and within 5 or 10 minutes he would call back and answer my question, and I'd get right back to work. So I really want to thank him. He made the difference for me, because if he had waited a day or 2, my heart was pounding just waiting for his call, and I just really want to thank him for answering my technical questions, and really he helped me get my cert petition done. And I'm just honored, and I'm here today, the day before Mother's Day, and I know that there's thousands and thousands of mothers all across the United States who tomorrow it should be a special day with our children. We should wake up to the handmade cards and to having a special day with our children. And there's so many of us that won't have that special day, but we have hope this Mother's Day. We have hope that the activists and the child advocacy groups and all of the people in America are speaking out for this unjustness, and that one day we will have our children back, and our children will be safe, and that they will be protected, and that I'm hoping also that judges who are in family courts will lose judicial immunity. Or if we have rules of procedure, constitutional violations that should not be violated, how can it be so prevalent across the United States?
Exactly.
And I didn't know, because I wasn't a lawyer, and I didn't have law books, but now I have law books, and now I have rules of procedure, and now I know what they have done is unconstitutional, and what they've done to all of America's mothers is unconstitutional.
That's right.
And it's not just, it's okay to do this because the judge says it's okay. It's a violation of our constitutional rights to parent our children. And I'm still hopeful, and I can't wait to get the letter. I'm hoping that it will be the one saying I've been placed on the docket, and oh my gosh, I get my mail at the post office. Everybody at the post office is going to hear me go.
Yeah.
I'm praying for that letter too.
But you know what? Just getting there that day And do you know what? Can I tell you how the process was? Oh my gosh. I knew that you could not go up the stairs to file in the clerk's office like, we normally do in the clerks, at our local courthouses or at the appellate court. Oh, and this is really cute. I knew that you had to go around back and take a long walk around the U.S. Supreme Court. Well, as I was walking by carrying the 40 cert petitions, literally every person I walked by, as I'm carrying them with the red, white, and blue, I said, "You're watching history. This is a U.S. Supreme Court cert petition going to be filed. This is historical significance for America's children." And I literally was bursting. I had to tell every person that walked by me, "Look, this is history being made." And as I walked by the nice man at the ice cream truck on the corner, here's the Supreme Court, here he was, and I guess he was coming back from getting something from his truck. And I said the same thing. I said, "Sir, this is historical for all of America's children, and it's so amazing that God is so good that I have this." And he stopped right there and he said, "Let's say a prayer." And right there on the street, he did the most beautiful prayer. We bowed our heads. And he saw the specialness of what was being walked to him. And I'm not an attorney, but this is really good. And I just give praise to God because I just knew that God, that's all you have to say. I just have to say it's God. Well, so after the prayer, I'm still walking and I'm walking and I'm walking. And it's a long walk with 40 cert petitions. And I go around the back and I see the little guardhouse, this little guardhouse. And I step up on the sidewalk like, hello, I'm filing. Oh, they said, and they were very nice, by the way, but they have rules. I had to go back out to the sidewalk and not even get up on the little step. Literally step right there on the sidewalk, and I had to put everything down right there. I couldn't move any further. And then I had to give them my driver's license. And then they took it back in the little house. And they must have ran to make sure that I'm the all-American squeaky clean mom. So then they came back out, and I told them I was filing a cert petition. And then they came out with the biggest plastic bag, like this big, like this high. And they said, just take all what you're sending into the Supreme Court and put it in this bag. And then I printed out some stickers with the exact date, the exact time, and they put a sticker on one of their books, and they put the sticker on one of the books that they were getting, and they put a sticker on my book, and then they put a sticker on my proof of service and my certificate of service, and then they wrapped it all up. And as she started to walk away, I said, "I haven't let those cert petitions out of my sight for 4 days." I said, and she said, "This is historical, isn't it?" I said, "Yes." And then there they walked, there they went. It was just, and then I went,
That's right.
and then I was just, I have to pinch my cheeks, and to have it be Mother's Day weekend, and when you have 90 days from the date a motion for rehearing is denied. Now, I'm not practicing law, so I'm not giving out legal advice, but I'm just saying in my case, I know that you have 90 days from the date of a motion for rehearing is denied to then file a cert petition. And I'm on the phone around midnight with a girlfriend, and when we realize that I get to go there, and I know the U.S. Supreme Court rules is 90 days, and she's like, "Well, count out the 90 days and see where the 90 days falls on." And I counted it out, and I'm like, "No way." And she said, "What?" And I said, "It's Mother's Day weekend." I said,
You have
"God."
to be right on it.
I said, "God."
Yeah, that's good.
I said, "God, you are so good." Huh. She's like, "Count it again. Are you sure you didn't make a mistake?" I said, "Okay, I'll count. You can hear me count." So I got out my calendar, and I counted out again, and I said, "Oh my gosh, the significance of this," and I call those God incidences. It's not a coincidence, it's a God incidence that it falls this weekend. It could be any weekend out of the whole calendar, and it's Mother's Day.
Yes.
So I'm humbled by the opportunity, and I'm honored to help speak about this because this is so unjust, and this is so unconscionable, and it should not happen to anyone. And I do believe that just like the Roman Catholic Church scandal, probably for 20, 30 years was rumblings of this, and no one ever spoke about it, and everybody tried to brush it under the rug. Well, this unjust family court crisis this cannot happen anymore. This has to be brought to the attention of the American people, the good American people who care about our children. And I'm asking that the press, the mainstream press, start to cover this issue, because you are sitting on the biggest scandal ever. And for you not to cover this is a travesty in itself.
Yeah.
And this is a story that needs to be told. And if you don't tell it, we will tell it. So we'll just create our own press.
We're with you, Linda.
So
You know
We're
what?
creating
I'm
our
gonna-
own press.
I'm going to get that picture into the next Now
This-
Family Law newsletter.
This
The
one?
picture I took of you with your
oh yeah.
with your writ. With
Oh,
the,
thank you.
Because
And
you know
you
I'm
know-
on the committee.
Oh, thank you. You know, they just chose me as a poster mom. Did you know that?
Oh yeah, well yeah, I'm on the committee.
Oh, you are. You're so sweet. Thank you. And it's in here. Did you know that?
Oh yeah.
I put now in here.
Oh, good.
Here, I put it in 3 spots. Hold on. I was honored, by the way, to be chosen. I was like so tickled because it was the perfect time for that too.
Well,
in
we'll
April.
we'll get that picture in the next
Okay.
newsletter.
And
Family Law newsletter.
okay, here you are, right here. The National Organization for Women is featured, and I'm so thankful for all that they're doing. Here it is, right here. Look. And the XIII, National Organization for Women, Now Spring newsletter by the Now Ad Hoc Family Law Committee addressing discrimination against women in family courts. And I even gave the website for where it is, and then click on Family Newsletter. We're on page 36. And here's the National Organization for Women Ad Hoc Family Law Committee brochure. I put that on page 37. And then I'll read that too, but then I also put in, here it is right here. I also put in the California Now, because they did the, where is it? Oh, disorder in the courts. So I quoted all of them as well. So let me show you where you are, and I'll let you see it. Because it's amazing what you're doing. 37. Here, oh, you're at the, you start right here. So you got 2 huge sections in here. And then you're over here as well. And then we have the O magazine, Oprah's O magazine, and Oprah will be getting a copy next week when I get back. Everybody who I've quoted under other authorities is going to get a copy just like this with a little ribbon. And Wendy Titleman, who is a case before in 2000 that came before the U.S. Supreme Court, and her case was not accepted. But it was a case just like mine of historical importance, and I am so saddened that her case was not chosen. Well, Wendy has so graciously, she's going to give me her book to attach to her book and have a book in the ribbon with the, look, with the Now brochure. And then here's the Now brochure from the Ad Hoc Family Law Committee. And here's the spring newsletter. So the president, our wonderful president, President Obama, and the First Lady, Michelle Obama, and here's the spring newsletter. They are going to get a little packet from me by next week of Wendy's book, The Now information, and some press releases and some Kathleen Russell from Center for Judicial Excellence. And I know, I cannot imagine that we can be up. I still have hope. I do. I realized in 2004 when I filed for divorce to protect my children, it was really, really a sad day when I realized, I always thought, oh my gosh, when the judges hear about this, the judges are going to protect my children.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh my gosh, when the police and the Child Protective Service people, when they hear about this, they're going to protect my children. Oh my gosh, when the attorney hears about this, the cavalry will be coming. And do you know what I soon found out? Not only were they not coming, but they didn't care. And they were aiding and abetting the perpetrator.
It's hard to even get your own attorney to care.
Oh, they don't.
Linda Marie,
Yes, ma'am.
happy Mother's Day from me and
Thank you.
Holden.
You're so sweet.